again from the game we saw yesterday, which kind of made me wonder about this whole is he a substitute jungler in the first place thing. There was actually a little bit of a miscommunication with those exact two champions, Mima and Impaler, making different calls kind of at the exact same time to go in and go out at the same time. Between the two of them, that kind of thing can actually really cost you in these situations.
Yeah, of course. I mean, synergy between two players is something that doesn't come overnight for them. So we'll see if, well, they've had a night. We'll see if that's actually changed things for them on that front. Rengar, as we said, banned out. Yeah, spamming it out, playing together. That's pretty much the only way that it's going to fix things. Lucian and Caitlyn both banned out here. So banning towards Heidal here, the AD carry right now for Super Hot Crew. On the other side, Kassadin taking away Elise and Vayne.
Okay. So keeping Vayne out, maybe just a little bit of a kind of respect ban. Vayne is always a threat. If she's on an enemy team, you cannot say for certain you've won until you've kind of won overall completely. Taken the Nexus is probably the best way of putting that. But just because she scales so hard and all it takes is one or two unlucky kills or out of position kills and Vayne suddenly is right back in it and the enemy team now has enough damage to kill your entire team. So maybe just kind of want to make sure they've got that reliable potential there out of it.
Well, let's have a look here for this one. Shyvana was the first pick for Karont3. So with that Shyvana left up, picked in. Didn't really need much time to think about that one either. They took Shyvana straight off the table. Are we going to be seeing a Mundo? Of course, saw him in the last game. We know how strong he is right now.
Dragon pick, Dragon. Yeah, Mundo, very, very strong jungler at the moment. And indeed, kind of fits in the same... Ooh, that... Okay, so they just picked out Evelynn at the exact same time as Mundo there. That kind of implies some interesting things. That means probably Evelynn jungle. It could be Evelynn mid lane or top lane. That is something we have seen in the past. But Mima top lane Mundo is not something I've ever seen before. But it isn't something that is entirely nonsensical. Mundo, especially with the Perseverance Mastery, very, very sustainy top lane, especially after 6. And he scales really, really hard with farm.
Well, we'll see about that. And we know that Mima is a fantastic Evelynn player as well. When he came into the NIP team, we're basically in Rengar, Evelynn, and two champions that he loves to play. Whether we'll see that here or not remains to be seen. But Karont3 looking like they're going to be locking in the Lee Sin, which will confirm that Shyvana most likely will go into the top lane, and a Jinx as well.
Okay, so Jinx, not a character we've seen too much of since she was nerfed, essentially. But generally what it's meant when we've seen it thus far is siege compositions. Jinx absolutely excels at destroying buildings. She has the range on the rocket form to hit them from a very safe distance comparatively, but if she is allowed to get in close, she can also just, with a Bloodthirster first and the minigun attack speed, really, really shred through them early and quickly. That makes her a very, very dangerous sieging threat. And that could work well if it's a top lane Shyvana, because she can also apply a lot of map pressure and they will rely on just very, very heavy pushing across the board.
Well, on the other side, the dual lane was locked in by Super Hot Crew as they pick up Thresh and Ezreal.
Okay, Thresh, Ezreal versus Jinx, Leona. That is a lane with a lot of kill potential. I mean, straight up, Leona, any lane, has a lot of kill potential, but Thresh, Ezreal do have tools to avoid Leona. Obviously, can Arcane Shift out of the Zenith Blade, although post 6, that can then be followed up with the ultimate, which obviously you'd have to flash. But the other thing, though, that I will really be interested to see if it can be done consistently by Mixer, is can he flare Leona when she's in the middle of Zenith Blade? You can cancel it out and it would prevent her from getting the stun and actually leave her in an awkward position where she would take poke, but it's such a mechanically difficult skill to master, especially if the Leona is aware you're trying to do it and will try and mix you up. It can completely make or break a lane, but if that doesn't happen, maybe in the long term we'll see some things start to go wrong for Ezreal Thresh.
Well, the final pick here for Karont3 was also Zed. Now, we saw Neptuno playing Zed in their last game yesterday, which of course they did end up losing out. That was our second game of the day against the Copenhagen Wolves, so most probably the strongest team that they were up against there. We'll see how Neptuno does here on Zed today. It's left Super Hot Crew actually with final pick, and they're going to be going for their mid lane here with that final choice, currently hovering over Lissandra.
Lissandra is the classic, I suppose, counter per se to Zed. Used to be that generally Zed was a bit too strong overall, and regardless of what you did eventually late game, he would get to be a real impossible threat to deal with. As he is now, though, a little bit less reliable than he used to be. Very much a skill-dependent champion, and I have to wonder. I've never seen the matchup Morgana versus Zed, but you would imagine that would actually favor Zed. I mean, Black Shield is almost worthless against him. By much the same token, he is very, very good at juking things like Dark Bindings and all the rest of it. So it just seems like that is a very dangerous pick to go with, and may very, very well indicate 2v1 swap-ups. That would actually work very, very well, though, for Karont3, because their bot lane is extremely reliable in 2-on-1s. Jinx shreds towers. It's a very complex situation.
Well, this is, as we said, a very important game for both teams. Super Hot Crew, if they actually manage to win this one, pretty much guarantee, all but guarantee, let's say that. Yeah, it's obviously never a done deal until you've played all your games, but pretty much pushes them into a position where they'll be feeling very, very safe in terms of going through. For Karont3, though, we said it before, that they're almost on the opposite side of things. They need a win here to stay in.
Yeah, without that win, it puts them in a 2-0 down, and they're not going to be playing. I've said it before. I don't understand round robins very well, but
everyone plays each other once.
I know.
And at the end of it, the top 3 teams go through.
But teacher, what if they end up with the same number of wins?
And this is the thing: we play tiebreaker games. If no team has a winning record against the others in the tiebreaker.
Okay.
So
right.
We could end up with a 2-team tie. We could end up with a 5-team tie. We could end up with a 3-4 team. Like, there are so many different outcomes to it that it's almost not worth talking about the possibilities there, because there are each different outcome. Each if it's a 2-way tie, it'll be a different format if there's a 3 or a 4-way tie. So we'll come to that if we get there. I wouldn't mind seeing an extra few games, that's for sure. But they will be played tomorrow, obviously, if we do end up with ties in anything. But we are going to go into game here and kick things off. So let's have a little bit of a talk about level 1 and what we can expect from it.
Okay, well, the first thing that's really, really obvious is Super Hot Crew have an incredibly dangerous level 1. They have Dark Binding and they have Thresh Hook. That combined, the two of those things are really, really dangerous CC. Then they also have multiple spammable high damage poke abilities in the form of Mundo Cleaver if he chooses to skill that, and Hadel's Mystic Shot there. So really, really scary level 1 from them. I think I mentioned this yesterday, but the value of invading in general in the current patch is a little bit lower, but they may well still try and abuse that. However, they have to be careful because there is still a lot of damage to contend with. Less CC, but if they were to walk into Karont3 and not be aware of it ahead of time, it would be disastrous.
Well, Impaler going to look to have a bit of a free run here on things. You see a lot of pings going down onto the top side of the map there. Mima, of course, going to be playing this Mundo up in that top lane. And obviously having a bit of a discussion right now, Super Hot Crew, as to how and why they're going to go about the things that they're going to go about with. Or maybe they'll just sit back and soak up any pressure that comes from that one. Interested to see what Impaler actually does here with Evelynn, whether he does a fast switch around the jungle. There's a ward down right in the face of Jimbones and Tremnek, and they now know that they're spotted. Gonna back away from that one. Zed up on the top side, also from that ward that was put down earlier on, and we can see the duo of Mixer and Hadal starting to come down as well to join up with Mima. So we may see this 3-man push onto blue.
Late invade is going to really disrupt Tremnek. Karont3's here.
Wow, flash there early, very early, like almost ridiculously early from Eco, and that is going to be the blue buff here going over, or is it the Q hits? And actually Eco is going to manage to hold that one in there. That right there was absolutely amazing. Got the vision from the Q, smited it down. Brilliant.
Really, really, really nice reaction by Karont3, and now actually confident enough to go back and make sure he gets his level 2 from finishing off the little mini lizards there. However, that was a very low risk play from Super Hot Crew in the first place there. They were just not it didn't really cost them that much to fail to steal that, and it could have earned them quite a lot. And Mundo ended up just using his teleport to head down to the bottom. It's kind of like, instead of what we see quite often, which is the safe play in a 2-on-1 situation where people go and get a little bit of jungle experience, then recall, and then get back to lane while the lane is frozen, as we can see in bottom lane at the moment. Instead, Mima said, right, I'm going to be with the team, I'm going to try and make a play happen. As it happened, didn't work out this time, though.
Well, we'll see how much pressure he faces on that bottom lane as things work out there. Always got to be careful with that Leona if she decides to just jump straight on top of the slow that they can come out of Jinx. Plus, you know, the snappers.
Yeah.
Which is always going to be deadly in terms of locking you up.
Yeah, it's a lot of burst damage, and it also chains together incredibly well because you end up, as you say, you get rooted by Leona, then you get stunned by Leona. That's 2 procs of her damage, multiple auto attacks from Jims, then you get the Flame Chompers placed behind you while you're still locked down. Dragon actually potentially in trouble in that area. A Mixer actually popped a red pot. I had not noticed that.
Yeah, red pot coming out there. That's definitely interesting start here from Mixers. We are going to see Eco coming in from this one, and directly Flay coming out there just to make sure they don't get chased down any further. Meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, we are going to see Impaler coming around, but he's level 4 at this point, double buffs on, and obviously not wanting to really fight there. And in the mid lane, Moops also taking a lot of pressure from Neptuno.
Yeah, this is kind of what I was expecting in this mid lane. Morgana not a particularly good matchup against Zed, so there is a very important reason they wanted to run it. Yeah,
going in towards the top. Hydra's actually going to be the focus, but Eco going very low from this one, but First Blood actually coming down there. Mixer does manage to get a kill back, but with that Flay will try and escape this one. I think he should be able to get away. No, flash in from Dragon, but not enough damage. Mixer just flashing out at the perfect time there to stay alive, keep a hold of those blue buffs.
Zed's heading up there.
Those double buffs, I should say. Yeah, Zed is going to go straight underneath the turret from this one. Actually getting hooked. Flayed back as well. Neptuno gets the kill, but he is going to die in the end to Mixer. The buff's basically being reset as Mima here in the bottom lane going very low. Jimbone's going to get finished off there by Impaler's Evelyn, and they need to be real careful with this one in terms of how low Tremnek got, but the flash away from Impaler will mean another kill coming down for Super Hot Crew.
Yeah, coming out a little bit ahead there. Thresh able to take down Zed, and that has a lot of implications for the mid lane because Morgana was under pressure. Now she's going to be able to sustain herself back up, and in bot lane there's another fight.
Yeah, Mima's actually in trouble from this one. Eco now coming across the side. Can they lock him up from it though? A lot of damage early on here from Eco as he lands the Q to finish things off. We're tied in kills. Slight goal lead here for Karont3 though.
Yeah, okay, so is there going to be another fight now? I don't think it's possible. No one's anywhere near. But that was essentially taking advantage of the commitment in top lane. The bottom lane fight happened because up until then, they'd been very, very nervous about possibly going in just in case Karont3 would be there. Because I keep seeing Shyvana jungle and it's Dragon. Something in my head is wrong. Anyway, regardless though, just a lot of fights across the board being very influential on the lanes, but probably going to end up counterbalancing each other.
Oh, Dragon having a much better time of things as I completely miss a kill in the bottom lane from that one. Neptuno had started to come down as well in the end. It's actually Impaler that will manage to take down Tremnek, who was low health for quite a while there, down in that bottom side of the map. My apologies for missing the kill. I am not a cameraman, that's for sure.
C'est la vie. As it happens though, Karont3 are now looking to try and take away this tower. They want to get that momentum going, but can they get it?
Oh, Flame Chopper's coming in. Moop's going to come from the side. That's a great dark binding. Eco's going to pay the price, or is he? He's still alive from this one. Ignite is burning away. Mima will be able to pick up the kill, but now is Mima too deep in this one? Going to get slowed down by the zap as we see the dark binding actually missing, but the kill comes in onto Jimbones. And, well, Morgana, you've always got to factor in there. I mean, Moops comes around. Ulti was already used, as was Flash and Ignite from that fight, but they were able to pick up another kill, leaving them now 6-3 in the lead.
Yeah, but crucially there, the tower has been held. Super Hot Crew able to prevent that momentum going, and we said it in Champion Select, it is the signal that you're going for a siege composition if you pick Jinx. If you're not able to start pushing down towers early on, you're not going to be taking as big of an advantage as you potentially can do, and then you start to feel the difference between Jinx and Ezreal in team fights. He is so much more mobile, and he's so much more less restricted by what his team is doing than Jinx is. She cannot make plays essentially alone.
Oh, Dragon going to actually jump into this one in Dragon form as Lee Sin's Q will land on toward Mixer. He's in much trouble at this point. Will actually get finished off. Ignite goes down on towards Eco, and Heidal not going to have the damage really to push this one back. A nice kill picked up there by Karont3 to bring it back to 6-4.
Okay, so it seems to be a constant game of 1-to-1s across across the map, but at the moment it's still definitely favoring Super Hot Crew. They will have an incredibly dangerous team fight as time goes by here. With Evelynn, with Mundo, with Morgana, all of that AoE magic damage, and indeed Ezreal able to hop around the fight, they have a lot of potential as long as they don't start losing towers. But next question, actually, is are Karont3 going to go not for a tower, but for the dragon? Because there is still that 2-1 commitment in top.
Oh, Impaler coming in there is going to put down the ultimate. Jimbone's already down to half HP. They should be able to chase this one out, especially with the Mundo in there. Very, very sticky, but Impaler goes low. Is he going to get finished off? The Ignite goes down. Zap will actually pick up the kill. And there is the missed briefcase from Mima, and they're turning this one around. Mima might actually go down here. Jimbo's chasing in. One more shot should do it, and there it is. Double kill. The movement speed boost will get him out of there, and that is a nice double worked out. A little bit of overestimation there, I think, from Super Hot Crew.
Mima actually missed right at the end one crucial cleaver. He probably would have been able to kill Tremnek if that had happened. Still wasn't ideal though, because Impaler underestimated the burst that came out with the Ignite, with the Leona damage and Jinx all coming in at once. He ended up going down very, very close to surviving, but didn't actually do so, and that obviously left Mima a bit in the lurch. But even then, he could have turned it around, but just missed straight up.
So with the first two towers of the game going down, so Neptune can sit there with the Dark Binding and a Tormented Soil. Mima and Dragon are going to be facing off here in this top lane, or at least Mima will be moving up to the top. Now Dragon's actually started to work his way back down, kind of pick up the new creep in the jungle that we have, which is kind of conveniently placed for the top laner on that blue side as well.
Yeah, the white is actually very much a kind of a parallel to the small golems, because he's just not very easy to take. Comparatively, you're going to lose a lot more health for a lot less gain if you want to take either of those two camps at the extremities of the map. Probably to limit top laners, just cheesing off and taking them. But Impaler now hanging around this bottom lane by passing all the wards because he's Evelynn. Can Mixer set up a Lantern gank?
Well, might not even need that at this rate. Impaler has got himself into the brush right now, and they've not seen it. Actually, Leona going to go in. The hook lands onto Jimbones. There comes a solar flare. Eco coming around. Mixer is already extremely low from this fight. There's the true shot barrage coming out. Mixer is still very, very low, but can they get in there to finish him off? Eco continues to chase down as well. Heidal going to get away as Eco goes under what was the tower there earlier on, and now Zed starts to move in. Impaler goes down. That's a double kill for Zed. Heidal not going to escape this one. Jimbones picks that one up. And what a turn of events here. Karont3 picking up a 3-for-1 in the bottom lane.
The faster roaming from Zed meant he got there and was able to really turn that fight for them. They were kind of on the retreat, as it were, before, but then with Zed there, it was just a sudden appearance of a massive spike of damage, and there was not a lot that could be done about that at that point. Morgana arrived afterwards, but just kind of you can't get in range very easily for Soul Shackles unless you've landed the Dark Binding, and there were 3 people there, 2 of them on low health, just not able to reach him. And that minion's going to stop him.
Yeah, 1,000 gold there actually for Neptuno on Zed to spend after that little fight. Puts him at 3-1-1 now, and it's not something you want to see happen. The Zed, who'd been kept relatively well in check, I think we can say, up until now, is now at the point where he can start to become extremely strong.
Yeah, it was starting to look almost like Morgana was going to end up on top of that lane, but with the mobility boots, he was able to just get there, get kills, and get fed. That is why the assassin meta was so strong, because even though they weren't necessarily stronger champions per se, if you looked at them just like in some kind of bizarre 1v1 scape where you're comparing usefulness to the team late game, mid game, because of their roaming potential, that gave them kind of an extra edge on top of everything else they did.
Yeah, Mima here getting started upon by Dragon, forced to pop his ultimate from that as well, and not really the desired effect, I think, from Mima. Didn't want to be using that up, but he gets him up to full HP, and honestly, that ultimate from Mundo not got the biggest of cooldowns on it either, as we do get a pause. Not sure exactly what for at this point. Apparently, Moops, or someone at least, is lagging here for SUPA Crew.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Heard those words before, but hopefully... Okay, I'm not really hoping for his connection to be failing, but I'd rather that was happening than the servers were doing something funny.
Exactly. It gives us a bit of time, though, to actually look down the items here and talk about some things such as the trinkets that we have in here. Only one sweeping lens right now across the board, and that's with Leona, who also, by the way, went for the Relic Shield start. Now up to Targon's Brace already. On the other side, slightly different with the Sightstone coming out of Thresh.
Well, remember, Targon's Brace actually gives you an extra edge in pushing, which is very, very much different from what you would normally expect from Leona. Used to be, Leona was not a particularly strong pushing support. You know, something like even something relatively weak at pushing would still generally outpush Leona because she couldn't get near the minions. But with the Targon's Brace, with the ability to just execute minions below half health, she suddenly pushes almost as fast as other people. But most other champions are less willing to run that Targon's Embrace, so it does seem like that is a really, really strong aspect to Leona that I feel like a lot of people aren't considering at the moment.
Well, we'll see how that one develops. Again, we said it yesterday that now 3-14, this is the first major tournament that we're having, certainly in Europe. And there's still a hell of a lot to be developed, to be figured out, the numbers to be crunched and what have you. And no doubt a lot of changes still to come, of course. It's a pre-season patch and alterations will come in.
Yeah, they were already made. I mean, Targon's, when it was released, was just completely out of whack in terms of how much gold it generated. As it is now, much less so. And I have to say, highlighting that issue which we mentioned before with Annie, in that the active is less useful, but that, again, comparing that to Thresh, who has no gold item and just a Sightstone, it's an interesting approach. I'm actually curious if that will catch on more and more as time goes by.
We'll see that. A heal coming out from that Targon. It's always a bonus to be having, especially in a lane where you've got no natural sustain. No, it's not a massive heal by any means, but helps you stay in there. I mean, Bloodthirst's already in for Jim Bones at this point, so it's not exactly like he's got no sustain, not able to keep himself healthy in there.
Yeah, as time goes by, the Targon sustain becomes less relevant.
Wow, going straight in there. The Chomper's down, and that is the combo we were talking about earlier on. Jimbo's here now going to chase off, try and get his paws on Mixer as well, but I think Mixer should be able to get away. Gets hit by Zap, but already was too close to the tower for really any problems to come in. So another nice kill coming down for Karont3.
Yeah, and you could actually see an instant reaction coming out from Zed there, moving down to support the team. As soon as he saw that engage happen, he thought perhaps they could go for a dive on Mixer, but as it happened, he's decided instead to just push down the mid tower, and I wonder if they're going to fight for that.
Yeah, so ridiculous amounts of damage coming out there from Jim Bones as well. And we can see with that ward, he's like, what's that, jungle from outside the jungle? No problem for me.
It's a ranged minion, which means you can farm it over the wall, which I guess is a difference from double golems in that respect. But the next point of contention is clearly going to be this dragon. Impaler is in the area, though. That makes it a very dangerous steal.
Well, let's see. Impaler here going to get hit by Zap. That slows him right down, and Zed going to go in there. Lantern coming out. That will keep Impaler alive for now as Moops comes in. Shackle's going down. Jim Bones is going to fall. Used his barrier there to no real avail from him. Trendneck now the focus. Flash from Dragon at the backside. Meanwhile, the Dragon itself doing a lot of damage here and will be picked up. That was a great reaction from SUPA Crew.
Really nice box from Mixer there, landing it in the middle of everyone and just... like, at that point, Karont3 had already committed very, very heavily, and he just split them in half. He made them all think, actually, do I want to run, do I want to stay? None of the choices were good ones, and so they just spread apart and ended up falling down. Impaler there just kind of witnessed a flying Lee Sin.
Yeah, flew straight past him, and Nico actually going over towards Guns. And Impaler is recalling at this point. So let's have a look down some of the other items. The Zhonya's Hourglass almost complete for Moops. And when I say almost, it's
quite noisy.
Yeah, it's pretty noisy, that recall animation. It's not quite Oktoberfest Gragas, but it's still pretty impressive. But that Zhonya's is now finished for him. On the other side, Zed with the Blade of the Ruin King went mobility boots here, which is obviously playing to the fact that he has moved a lot specifically towards this bottom lane.
Yeah, it has indeed. I actually wonder though at the moment if he's he's not going to be able to get that at the moment. There's just a few too many wards down there, and that just makes it a little bit difficult. But at the moment, it seems like his aim in these team fights is to try and destroy Evelynn, but that is now being countered out. There has been a Zhonya's Hourglass pickup, which is very, very difficult for him to deal with. Obviously, Deathmark makes things difficult, and that in turn now means that Impaler is much, much safer in forcing these engages because she's been the first person in these battles thus far. Previously had to worry about being bursted out in spite of her shield. Now, maybe not so much.
I saw the pink ward go down from Impaler. Obviously, changed a lot really in this patch. Now no longer invisible, but has 5 hit points, I guess we can really call it. So that'll be probably taken away here once SUPA Hot Crew realize what they can go for, as we are going to see them going full on towards Impaler. But again, Mixer having that lantern in the right place at the right time will keep him alive.
Yeah, Mixer's making the plays thus far. We had that box before. We also, in the same team fight, had the Lantern that enabled Impaler to take almost no damage from Zed's Deathmark because he took it at the exact moment where Zed appeared, having teleported, and just zoomed out of the way and avoided all the follow-up.
Now, this top lane pushed down pretty heavily by Mima, who been relatively quiet, as has Dragon, since we've come into this phase where they end up in a position together there. As we are going to see Moops going in on towards Jimbones, who's between the towers, picks up the kill, going to speed out there. Wow, Impaler getting kicked in towards him there, and Jimbones is going to pay his price for that one. Eco now being chased down by Impaler, getting himself off to a ward, but he's basically running to no man's land. That will be a double kill coming down from Impaler. Questionable place to fight from Karont3.
Yeah, they were going very, very deep, and it was just a lack of awareness, I think, that of where Mima was. He was able to get there much, much quicker than they were anticipating. Popping that ultimate does make Mundo very, very quickly, but they're going to go for Tremnek.
Wow, box coming down. Lantern going to be used here. Impaler gets himself now another one. He's on a rampage at 6-2-3. Got himself that needlessly large rod added in as well at this point, and he's up at 1,400, 1,500 gold, 1,700 for Mima as well. But SUPA Hot Crew, they're managing to pick up these kills where you maybe wouldn't expect them.
Yeah, they are really, really playing that kind of aggressive roaming style. They're going for picks much less than team fights. Karont3 much more orientated on those kind of larger engagements at the moment. But that does mean that kind of part and parcel to mobility and to that ability to roam and get picks is that you start taking a couple more towers off the back of them because you create more map pressure, you create more opportunities for your laners to then take their towers, and that's giving them a little bit of an edge on that, and that's why you can also see that small gold advantage opening.
Dragon there getting himself up to 160 CS, let's call it, to the 146 right now of Mima's Mundo. So those two guys pretty close in terms of what they've managed to farm up so far. If you have a look down the AD carries as well, because they've started to get those items in. Static Shift plus the Bloodthirster here for Jimbones. On the other side, the Trinity Force already done for Heydal's Ezreal, plus the workings of that Bloodthirster.
Yeah, very, very, very standard stuff from these AD carries. The Shiv will enable Jinx to push that a little bit quicker, and it will also accelerate her getting the Last Whisper, which really suits her down to the ground. She has a lot of attack speed anyway. She doesn't need to, cry over missing out, 10% extra attack speed from a Phantom Dancer as opposed to a Shiv. That will just mean she is now able to potentially support, a little bit more in terms of the lane rotations. Tremnek, though. Or not. He got corked. Nothing happened.
Knocked back from that one, trying to get in there, but be careful. This Morgana now with an extra blasting one in there is going to be putting down a lot of damage. And look at this, Jimbone's being stalked through the jungle by Impaler. He's going to throw down the Flame Chompers, but Impaler's still going in there and might not even need Impaler at this rate. There's the barrier coming out. Impaler gets himself another kill now, up to 7-2-3. I think Heydal would have really liked if his teammate had have given that one over to him, though.
Well, you know, you can't. It's kill securing. You can't let it go. There's always that small chance he might have had double flash due to a bug or something. But regardless, it does look like at the moment the next point of contention is going to be this red buff. Neptuno wants this, but I really don't think he can afford to try.
Yeah, Flayback coming in there, and he decides, I'm just going to leave. Morgana was coming in as well, and that sets them up perfectly for the Dragon, which has just spawned in. Haydal, of course, just jumping straight over the back of the wall. The rest of the Super Hot crew doing that one. No contest here on this Dragon. That puts Karont3 behind by 3,500 gold.
Starting to build a bit of a significant gold advantage now. Super Hot crew have had the edge in a couple of these little engages at the moment, and now it seems like Neptuno has boots of mobility, but I don't think that's going to be enough to outrun Mima.
No, Mima chasing in for this one. Hook and the binding land onto Neptuno. He will go down. It's Mima that picks that one up, and again, just out of position. We've seen that in these last 10 minutes that Karont3, out of position, have lost 3-4 kills, I think, until now.
And it's that solo queue mentality of just being able to capitalize off of mistakes the Super Hot crew are employing here. You see someone out of position, you snap down on them, you jump on them. It works really, really well, and they're employing it to very great effect. Impaler being spotted out there, but I don't think they're going to go for that either, really.
No. Better not to dive in onto the Evelyn, who has that Zhonya's anyway if things get really hairy. There's the Dark Binding going through. We're going to see this tower most likely going down and will be finished off there. Haydal able to finish that one down. So that puts them in much stronger position now. 4-1 up in turrets, the entire outer ring down. Mima bearing in on the inner turret on that top lane as well.
And that is one of the things about a Mundo in top lane, is he is so difficult to kill. And he does clear the waves pretty well, but they're going to go for the engage in mid instead.
Oh, Impaler going to get down the damage. Actually, a good solar flare coming out, but Mima's right at the front of them. We see their eco going to be chased down by Haydal. So let's get back to the main of the fight. There is the death mark coming in, but onto Mima, you can see it's barely scratched the guy. And Zed is going to go back to his shadow. Nice little juke from Neptuno. He's going to pay for it with his life, though. And now Tremnek, who came in to save him, will also pay for it with his life. Impaler using the hourglass and actually comes off with a lantern as well. He's actually going to escape that one. Moops doing exactly the same. Flashes away. Dragon trying to get in there for a kill. He falls as well. Finally, we see Morgana go down. But that will be an ace for Super Hot crew.
Absolutely beautiful damage juggling there. Karont3 were just getting so close. They would get, they were a bull to a matador. They just were not quite able to ever land a decisive blow. And as a result, they just took what was 5 for nothing? 5 for 1?
5 for 1.
5 for 1. That is pretty serious, actually, at that point, especially considering now the gold is suddenly ballooning up to, 7,000, 8,000.
Yeah, really, that gap's starting to grow on them. More items coming in from that one. Bloodthirster done now for Haydal, along with a pickaxe. So moving his way up nicely towards that, Last Whisper. The item name has been in the game for a very long time, just suddenly decides, you know what, I'm going to leave Joe's head for a moment and confuse him. Other items coming in as well. I mean, look at Thresh, who we were wondering how that was all going to go for him. Started out with the Sightstone, but now Mixer really working his way up nicely. Going to have his Randuin's Omen finished shortly.
Yeah, he is building a very, very tanky build, and that kind of means he's going to be on the front line quite a lot, which is actually a thing that Thresh has suffered a little bit for in this patch. He's still very, very powerful. He's still very, very relevant in lane and late game thanks to his CC and his early game damage, but he doesn't really scale in the same way that a lot of the supports we're seeing a lot of at the moment do. Annie can burst people hard, or she can just build full utility. Thresh kind of really, really benefits from being tanky as anything you care to mention, but doesn't really benefit that much from he doesn't have any other options, essentially.
One thing that we didn't really touch on is the fact that Karont3 looked down their lineup and you see a lot of AD in there. And obviously the real magical way to get around this right now, we see that 3 Randuin's Omens are coming down.
Yeah, it is. That's a pretty good effect there. They do actually have to consider the fact that Dragon there is going to put out more magic damage than you would expect, and Leona is also a deceptive effect. Her passive, when procced across everyone, which it quite often will be in team fights, also puts out quite a lot of magic damage. But yes, getting a lot of Randuins is going to be a very big thing, and it's very difficult to deal with. And it also means that everyone who builds AP has been able to just build a Zhonya's, and that really gimps Zed.
Yeah, 2 Zhonya's in there. Zed kind of limits his targets of where to go with that one as Mixer here up in the enemy jungle, getting wards down. Actually, he's going to land the hook here on towards Eco. Flay and the box coming in. Are they going to go down for him? Neptuno comes over the wall, walks straight through into the box, and Dragon's right at the front as well. This is a very strange opening to what may be a fight. It's a Dark Binding lands onto Neptuno, loses half of his HP, and you see that almost dealt with there just by that as Haydal now going aggressive. Flame Chompers come down. Black Shield used to just run straight through them, and now Impaler pushing his way in as well. He might actually pay the price, but gets his ulti in there as he uses that Zhonya's Hourglass. Everyone else falling very, very low. Moop's going to proc his ultimate off before using that Zhonya's, and now Impaler chasing down. He gets kicked back. Haydal's unstoppable, and Eco will manage to run away from it, but meanwhile, while that was all going on, Mima just doing what Amundo can do really well and push this bottom lane out.
Yeah, beautiful kiting there by Super Hot Crew, keeping themselves well out of the range of Karont3, but able to put so much damage in return because Karont3 was so desperate to make that fight happen that they were able to then turn it around. Can Eco steal this Baron, though? I think maybe, actually.
Well, let's see. The Q does go over, and Super Hot Crew decide to wait this one out. They're going to try and block him, but there is the Baron pick up. Eco going in for Mixer, but he's going to pay his price without even picking up a single kill there. Meanwhile, Mima just doing what he does best, pushing down on this bottom lane. Drew like 3 guys in while they were doing Baron.
They're going to try and kill him, but good luck.
Yeah, we'll see about that one. He actually turns around there, does a decent chunk of damage. They're throwing everything at Mima, and he's like, nope. I'm just going to walk away from this one. And by the way, I'm up at almost full health after my ultimate.
Yeah, Mundo is leaving, and now he even has Baron regen. I mean, if you just look at his health bar, he's healing for like 40 health a tick or something, and that's getting excessive at that point. And he's built a war. Yeah. He's got a lot of regen.
His Warmog's just been finished as we're talking about him as well. We've seen a Quicksilver Sash now coming for Haydal, who's got that Last Whisper Bloodthirster Trinity Force combo already done. We already talked about the fact that those Randuins started to appear. One with Mundo, one in the hands of Thresh as well. And a Rabadon's Death Cap now finished for Moops.
Yeah, very scary Morgana. Once she's got the Void Staff on top of that, she's kind of hit peak blow you up level on Morgana, and she's got so much supporting damage that she doesn't need to be as massively concerned about doing as much damage as possible in these fights. She just needs to make sure she zones out the right people, and she's so capable of doing that. I think the only one who could really afford to ignore Morgana's damage is Dragon.
Well, let's see about that one, because we see that Super Hot Crew start to move in. Jim's taken down to pretty much half health there, just a little bit more than after that single Dark Binding. Haydal takes a bit of a hit from Eco as well, but they're managing to get their hits onto the tower. It's already down to less than half HP.
Has anyone seen Oh, he's top lane. Mima in the top lane right now, gonna be just taking that tower away because Karont3 have just showed they cannot engage on the 4-man team Super Hot Crew unless they make a mistake.
Moops thought, I think, that Zed was coming in from him for that one. We do see Eco come down. There is a box that's going to keep Karont3 out of this fight for a good while. Dragon dives into the back. Moops going very low. His ulti is going to proc off onto just one, I think, in the end there. There is the ultimate out of Haydal as well. He got pretty low, but Bloodthirster and that Baron, he can get back into this fight and continue to do the damage. There is the kill as Mima finally joins the fight. He's just going to tank up the turret. He's got about 4 million HP at this point. That turret not going to be really denting him whatsoever. Inhibitor's going to go down. It was actually a fairly low scoring fight, that one. And now we see Karont3 trying to come back across to do more damage, but in the end, Super Hot Crew back away.
Mima at the end there, he was late into that fight, and it was a really nice engage from Karont3. But Mima was just so unbelievably tanky, and Super Hot Crew did enough damage this time. They didn't do tons of damage as they were retreating, but they did enough damage that Karont3, when Mima appeared and dived into the back line, they could no longer afford to just sit and face tank him. Because Mundo's damage isn't absolutely massive at the moment, but he was so tanky that he would have just sat on them until they died.
Yeah, and hard to get away from him as well. with those cleavers coming out, or briefcases, as they actually are in this one. And now Karont3 just trying their best to force these lanes back a little bit so that they've got a bit of breathing room, because up until now, they've been pushed heavily into their base this entire time.
Yeah, they need to get some map control, and they need to force picks on the enemy, because if they can't, things could go wrong.
Oh, this could be dangerous for Mixer, actually off to the side. The hook not quite landing, though. And the rest of the team from Karont3 were coming around. Kind of surprising me not to see more sweepers on Karont3's side of things at this point. You know, the fact that they've lost control of their own jungle. I mean, they need that back.
It's a difficult situation for them, because yes, maybe they could get rid of some enemy wards, but the problem is then they're probably not going to have the budget for actual warding themselves. Eco going for Mixer, though. He's a very tanky target.
Yeah, Dragon actually already in the backside of them here. Mixer is going to push himself back around. Are they going to keep fighting this one? Mixer's going to die. There is Impaler using the Zhonya's, but Moves flashes in, puts the ulti down. They're out of range from this one, but Jimbone's surely going to fall here. He's been chased off. Let's leave him for now. The rest of the team coming around that bottom side. Jimbone's trying desperately to regen himself from the minions, which he's done well, actually doing a lot of damage to Haydal. He may be able to come in and finish this one off. No, they're turning around as I hit the buttons on the side of the mouse. Great stuff, Joe. And Impaler in the end finishes him off. He is now legendary. That's 3 men down. They might be able to finish the game here.
They are going to try and sustain themselves back up, and Mima just, how much armor does he have? 275 and a huge amount of health. I mean, if you calculated like his effective HP versus armor, it's probably in the region of 10,000-11,000 at this point. It takes a long time for a tower to bring him down, and the rest of the team is strong enough at taking towers. He can just, well, tank for them, and that will work out very, very well. But it looks like they're not going to stick around. There's not much reason to risk it, though. They're 16k ahead. 16? Yes, 16. I can count sometimes.
More often than me, that's for sure. So Haydal here, he's just checking a few wards out as he steals away that red buff. And did really well there. I thought Jimbones might get the better of him, but playing it really to perfection. And as you said, a big gold lead, and that's going to mean a bit of shopping time as well. 3,000 gold for Haydal, who doesn't have that much left to buy, and he's still, by the way, on Boots of Speed.
Well, Boots of Speed, you know, that you can upgrade your boots, yes, but is it really the most efficient choice you can manage? Because at a given time, you know, getting those extra boots upgrades is not necessarily going to be the most efficient thing you can do. But I just want to know, again, I know I keep mentioning it, but Mundo now has Thornmail as well. I think he feels that armor is the way to go now, rather than health. 335 armor, 4,582 health. That's a lot of numbers that Mundo has behind him at this point. And you can see his health bar just ridiculously large right now. Towers, not a problem for him. Both of the Nexus turrets wouldn't be a problem for him to just get in there and tank up if they need to really do that one to get this game going. As Mixer gets hit, he's also got himself a Randuin's Omen and a Sunfire Cape now as well. Oh, yeah, okay, so that's actually a little interesting thing, but I may have to talk about it later because I suspect there could be engage here. Karont3 very much at a point now where they have very little choice. They have to make an engage happen or they will fall down to Mima's split pushing now. But Sunfire Cape on Thresh does actually have a couple of issues, because if you're putting yourself in position to use the Sunfire Cape, quite often you're putting yourself out of position for the Lantern. But at the moment it looks like they're going for it.
Oh, they are going to go in there. Mima actually getting kicked out. They're focusing the tank down from this one. Mima down to half HP. His regen starts to kick in now from that ultimate as he comes back into the fight. The rest of the team being shredded down. There's a flash from Impaler. Neptuno gets locked up by the Dark Binding. Not sure that Tremnek will escape. He uses his flash to actually get back onto the fountain. He goes very low. There are now only 2 men left alive, trying their best to get the regen in there. And we also see them just diving straight into the fountain to pick up the kills and also lose 2 lives, but it's not going to matter too much. Good game's already being called out here. Dragon trying to get in there, but look at Mima. He takes no damage whatsoever. The rest of the SUPA crew going to finish off the Nexus, and they pick up their 2nd win here